Hello everybody, my name is Markiem Johansenem, and it's today almost 15 years ago I founded and started the company ZenSati APS in Denmark. At that time, in the beginning, we had only a few lines, and today we will have one line on the focus, and then we will also have four general questions we got many times per year. So I will repeat those questions and answer those questions as good as possible. In that time, 15 years ago, we made a very successful cable, and the name of that cable was ZenSati number 1. It was very good. It has a huge good resume, and the acoustic benefit by this cable was enormous. There were some issues about the cable. It was with a construction with FEP tubes, and it was very stiff. And maybe you can see on the camera, but they have some dots on the cam, and it's because it was very easy to crack because it was very stiff. So the end user should maybe heat it up to make more bending and to avoid on the transport to crack the cable. The flexible zone was not that flexible because we did not have the completely correct material at that time. It's 15 years ago. And on that time we also have a partner for the plugs, and that was Fulltech in Japan. It was pretty good. And we sold a lot of ZenSati 1. Then it was faded out in 14, 15 because we made the ZenSati Seraphim. And the Seraphim was a huge success, and it took simply over. And after there we have other lines as the Silencio, and here from 5 years ago we introduced the ZenSati 1 on the market. So what do I want to do on our anniversary year? I want to do a relaunch of the ZenSati 1. And with the new ZenSati 1, we actually could make a cable that were way more flexible, no cracking, very flexible ends, and our own plugs the whole way around, except on the power plugs, it's still the Fulltech. They are the main provider on that. The huge benefit by the new ZenSati 1 is that we took the conductor from the ZenSati X and use it here in the full line, but with less mechanical damping. It's not that thick as the ZenSati 1. And we also have less shielding in the ZenSati 1. We have been now launching this here the last half year, and we also have our launch in Australia. We are launching this in Poland, in Taiwan, and other countries in the world for the moment. So we hope and trust that this new line will give more happiness by the end users, the audiophiles around the world. They have been very happy for the first version of ZenSati 1, and they are now able to order this cable. Okay, that was the difference between the new ZenSati 1 and the old ZenSati 1. I will now go and answer some general typical questions we have from the market. The first question we often hear is, what is the difference between other audio cables and the ZenSati audio cables? This is very, very typical question. And I prepared some answers on this here. Some of our colleagues in this business are using correction boxes on the cables. It can be on the power cords, the interconnect, the speaker cables, interconnect, and they make correction for the signal. We don't do this, and we don't trust it have a good benefit for the acoustic result. And another big difference is that many of other cables are heavy isolated with PVC or plastic around the conductor. And if you are squeezing your finger, it can almost hurt and you don't feel the freedom. Or if you have a trumpet with a tight or horn with a tight hole, you can almost not hear what you say. So this is not our philosophy to have a tiny isolation about around the conductor. Another difference is that many of usual cables are slowly, relative fast, as a slow car. But the ZenSati cables are very speedy because of their surface. It can be gold-plated copper, it can be silver-plated copper, it can be pure copper on a very smooth surface. They give the high speed on both directions. That's a huge difference between ordinary audio cables and the ZenSati cables. Last, and not most important, is that many are not happy with audio cables. Many find that audio cable is just something you have to connect your system with. So they are not that really happy. And when they try just the entry level of ZenSati cable, they have the same conductor as our flagship ZenSati X. People are beginning to smile. People are beginning to be happy. People are see that the investment they have been making with the ZenSati cables give benefit now. So this is one of the biggest difference between customers that have the ZenSati cables and other cables from this business. So we take number 2 question. Why are audio cables in general pricey, expensive? That's a common question. And let me try to explain and answer that question by this here. For us, we have, of course, the production cost. Cannot move this here. The metal parts have a cost. We have suppliers for the conductors, and we have also Danish employees that have to get the salary. So this is a fixed cost for us. We cannot change this, and we also need to have some profit to exist. In top of this, because that we are doing the channel management, we are always selling through distribution around the world, and the distributors have dealers. They also need to have some profit out of the product from Denmark. So in general, this is a picture in general for the cable manufacturers. They are using the channel management. There are some manufacturers of audio cables that are selling directly, but they are not that strong on the market because they don't have this sales network. And that's why we are counting on our distributors. That is our main focus and our main partners in this business. But everybody needs to earn money. So that gives a top price. And you can criticize this or you can accept this, but we cannot change this fact that everybody need and want to earn money and have profit in this business. The next picture I will try to explain why cables in general are pricey. Cost is that beside this, the profit picture, that if you have an average price on our cable, we have our entry level, for example, on that end, that is lower than the average price. And we have our flagship, the ZenSati X, that is over the average price. But the big difference is here that we have happiness whenever you choose the entry level or the flagship ZenSati X, people are happy. So it actually doesn't matter what the price is. If we can sort out people's problems with the audio system because of a cable change, people are happy. So we don't have an issue about the price setting because all in this chain here actually accept this here and are happy, and the customer also understand that quality costs. So this is just our point of view why cables have this price. Okay, number 3 question. Why do we, ZenSati, not handle out specification specs? And I have 3 main points here. And one of the most important point is that it is not our strategy to hand out specs. We deliver and sell our products without any specs. We have white papers and we use this in the training with the distributors, and that's enough. And it is not necessary to have specs. When you go in a car shop, you look on a nice car, probably look on the price list, they're standing on a nice stand on a piece of paper in the shop, and they're standing how many cylinders have, the size of the engines, the length of the car and the weight of the car. And 1 hour after, you forgot everything about this. Because this is not what this is about when you buy a car. It's about the pleasure. It's about what does this car do for you. And this is the same picture we are using here in our company, that specs doesn't help us. So it's not necessary for us, it's not necessary for the distributors, it is not necessary for the dealers to know the specs and use it in the sale. What is best is just to listen. When people are listening to the system, listen to their setup with our cables integrated, people are happy. And this is what is important for us. That the happiness from the dealer, from the distributor, when this chain is happy with the product, specifications is not at all an issue. Not at all. So this is the reason why we do not hand out specifications. Yeah, the last question, and I get it many times from new or the distributors we have now. Mark, tell us, how do you see the market for the moment? Well, I think everybody can understand and also click this off that those bullet points are real. We have a crisis around the world. Everybody knows what we're talking about, that the stock exchange is falling and collapsing. Also, even in China, we have a huge fall in the value of the yuan in China. It's have a huge influence worldwide. We have the wars. We have the wars that is simply damaging and terminating the desire from investors and for people to invest in audio because they don't dare to do it. They don't know what happened tomorrow. We have the inflations everywhere, also because of those points here. And then we have politic problems. For example, in Turkey, they have now a huge inflation of 250%. Who wants to buy electronic and speakers and cables in Turkey? No one. So the market is just stopped there. Same in America, and the Americans don't know where to go for the moment. And this is maybe the more for the business. There are a lot of brands in our audio business, and that's also make a frustration for the customer. What do I want to choose? This or this, A and B. So if we can get those wars stopped, that will help. If we can be more focused in the audio business, when we can stabilize more on the political scene, I see that we in 2-3 years maybe can grow. But for the moment, we have to be very careful around in the audio business. So that was actually my points, my 5 points for this small video here: the new launching of the ZenSati 1, and then the 4 questions we usually get monthly, daily, weekly, and I have tried to answer those questions best as possible. And with this here, I want to wish you a super day, a super time with your setup, and enjoy every moment where you're playing good music. Thank you for viewing this video.